Hey guys, what's going on? It's Cool Toys, and what I have here in front of me is utter disappointment. Um, as you know, in my last video, I talked about how I just got these in the mail today, and literally right after I finished that video, I unboxed them. I just couldn't wait. This was a early Christmas present for myself, and look what happened. Miles Mayhem, basically R.I.P. for Bruce Sato. Bruce Sato's leg snapped right off from the hip, and I'll show you why. And it is bad design and bad quality. Um, I like I said, I'm so angry with the company that put these products out on the market, knowing that there is faulty. And they don't have engineers that test these things out. Let me put this camera on a tripod so I can show you what I'm talking about. All right, here's Bruce Sato. And when I opened him out of the package, his leg was actually normal, like that. But if you can see this piece right here, there is a large chunk of plastic that sticks up on his uniform of his leg. You see what I'm talking about? Do you see how it protrudes off the leg of the plastic? And hey, geniuses who made this, that's right near his hip socket. And look what happens when you rotate his leg. It lifts the leg from the end. Do you see it twisting and turning in the hip area? That's exactly what happened. What I wanted to do is, because this comes with the Rhino, the mobile defense unit, pardon me, since we can't keep the rights to anything anymore. Um, I was folding his legs so I can put him in the passenger seat of the semi truck. I was all happy and excited because, I was so happy and excited about these floppy smokestacks, that I wanted to try the feature that gets in the way. Oh, wait, hang on. The button you're supposed to press here and make the door eject. Oh, no, you really can't, because guess what? The smokestack gets in the way. And if you have a figure in there, it basically traps them in there. It traps you from doing the mechanism. This is one problem out of a few of these other vehicles I'm going to show you too. Believe it or not, there's only one of these M.A.S.K vehicles that actually operates semi-well than all the others. And I'll show you. But, back to my story. I wanted to put him in the passenger seat and just try the ejection mechanism. I didn't have a bad guy unboxed at the time, so, he is the passenger driver for this, or he can sit in the back, and I was just putting his legs like this, and it just snapped off. I mean, if I wanted to, I could have pretended that this still is connected and then showed you guys and pretended it broke off, but no, it broke off camera, obviously, and that pisses me off because I should have been recording it, but I just wanted to set everything up, try everything out. That's what I normally do. I try things out so I know what I'm talking about when I'm, explaining to you guys and showing you live on my other videos. But yeah, I should have really did it live, but I didn't. So leg snaps off. I get angry. I'm really upset. This is not a cheap toy for adults. And like I said, they didn't have anyone to test these functions out. You're going to send it out to the general public with problems like this, with these loose stacks and legs breaking off, because, obviously the toy engineers or the people at the company didn't even bother to take the figures out and maybe articulate them, because you want to show off that, wow, here's the new range of motion. The arms go to the sides and the legs go to the side. But even with Matt Tracker, watch this. This leg goes nice, far. What happens here? Oh, let me hold this part. Only to there, see? This one goes all the way out, sideways, like a karate kick. This one does not, because guess what? There's another big chunk. There's another big chunk of plastic on the side of his leg. I don't know. I don't have the original one, if it was protruding that far off. But you would think with engineering now, you could have changed that. You could have made it more flush with the leg. You didn't have to have it sticking out that far. And then plus, especially right next to the hip. And here's just another thing waiting to cause a problem for collectors, for them to snap the legs off their action figures. You know, very disappointing that the peg broke off Sato. But hey, he's in there. Let's try and hold the stack back because, that's what is a problem. Oh, did he fall out? Did he get checked out? No, he didn't. Now he did. So the main problems is Mr. Sato like that. And what I don't understand is I don't know if in the cartoon, was it white in the cartoon? Because on the box art up here, the rocket launcher is black. This is white. I know this was a special edition because it came with, T-Bob and Scott tracker. But it's white for some reason, for this reason. I don't know. You should have made this the more of the original one. This one black, painted black with the chrome and everything, and T-Bob and Matt. Or, I'm sorry, I keep saying Matt Tracker. I meant Scott, the kid, his son. So anyway, that's the problem with this vehicle. I really wanted that because that was my very first M.A.S.K vehicle that I ever had as a child. And now it makes me upset. Oh, and another thing on the back, this is super loose. Watch this. My original one as a child never did that. I remember it would lock. Like, you heard it click, it would lock, but it didn't have this slop in it. Slop. All right, now we're back. So here is, their main vehicle for the toy line, the Thunderhawk with Matt Tracker. And my brother had this as a child, and I'm glad that now I have it for myself as an adult. But in another way, I'm not glad that I have this model. I'll show you why. So you push a button on the top, the doors are supposed to open, which they do. Pops up. It seems like the real deal, but this door is kind of saggy, and I was like, what's going on here? Second of all, these seatbelts, good luck when you try to remove these things, because it is a hard plastic, and it is really like clipped into the side of the seat. So you have to be very careful pulling on these and not breaking any tabs. But when you finally do, you move to the side, and hey, I want to put Matt Tracker in the vehicle. But guess what, guys? He barely fits. It took me more than 10 minutes to put him in this vehicle so the doors would shut. I mean, you can put him in there. See how I did? I just put him in there. That's just lots of practice of me doing it over and over and over again. But then you get this. Did you hear what just happened and see what happened? The door pops off. So forget about putting him with a helmet on. And now we got a big problem because, hey, we got to put this door back on here. How do you do that? There's a spring here. Well, guess what? You have to put it around this little clip. I don't know if you guys can see it, but real small clip. You have to line it up. Hold this door up. Line it up underneath. And snap it in place. It's still kind of loose. And the problem I was having is that not only this door pops off very, very easily. When you try and put this one on, sometimes this door was popping off just like that. So now you got the spring on both sides, and you're trying to finagle it back on and jim in on it. It'll keep going back on there. But, hey, you engineers, toy engineers at the toy company, which you didn't bother playing with or, trying it out on your own, I'll show you what the problem is. This tab is too narrow, and it's not wide enough to fit around the spring. And the spring, the metal, is not long enough to reach further back. That's the problem. There you go. Now you can fix it. Other than that, I guess the car is okay, but, it's going to frustrate you putting the figures in and out of this vehicle, especially if you want to do it the way it's supposed to be with the actual helmet like they do in the toy cartoon. There's problem number 2. All right, let's go to Condor. The figure so far is pretty good, but hey guys, look again. We got that protruding rather, plastic on the side of his leg. This plastic piece here hits on the top of the hip, just like Matt Tracker on the side. I know you're trying to be true to the original figures, but if it was a bad design then, you should have flattened that down, made it flush with the leg, and all the fans would have been fine. You know, if you had the paint detail and it looked like the pouch was there, but it just wasn't protruding anymore, they would understand. And then, you know, maybe you can even make a little YouTube video like I'm doing and saying, hey, look, you know, we had it on there, but when we were testing it, excuse me, sorry, we weren't testing it. Um, if you pushed it too far, like you were going to do a karate kick, the legs would snap off like Mr. Sato. Where are you at? Where's your leg, Mr. Sato? Oh, here it is. It's right over here. And the Condor. Look at these wings. I'm sorry that it's kind of dark. You know, there's a little bit of a shadow, but when you put up these helicopter wings, the plastic is stressing. I literally have only opened these up maybe 3 times from the snap position down, and you can see the white. Do you see the white coming through from the plastic, the black plastic? That is all stress marks. So if you continue to clip this down and do the transformation from the motorcycle to helicopter and then open this up for the propellers, I'm pretty sure over time these propellers are going to snap off. And you know why? Because it is brittle, cheap plastic. All right, let's move on. We got the high-tech helicopter. Here we go. Another not keeping the name of the real deal Switchblade. Thanks to the YouTuber who told me the name of it. I forgot what it was. I never had this one as a child. But with Miles Mayhem and Switchblade, this is a pretty decent vehicle. This is the one I wanted the most. But I saw another YouTuber, I forget who it was, but he was complaining about the same problem I'm going to talk about. When you're going through with the transformation process, there is this little clip right here. And hey, engineers, are you listening? If you would have just made this a little bit bigger, like another millimeter longer, when you push this button, it would lock it down more. But now I have to raise it up and I have to get it just right, or look, it just wants to keep popping up because it's not secure, it's not clipping on there. The only way to really keep this helicopter blades from staying down is by holding down with your finger here. Sorry, it's not really in frame, I'm showing you guys. Hold this down and clip it in with the tail rotor, which is part of the process of securing it to turn it into the plane mode. But the only way you're going to keep this flush down is, like I said, is using 2 hands and holding that down, because that tab is just too short. I know you're trying to make it original. If that's the way it was originally from the original toy, I'm sure maybe they had that problem too, but you can correct it. We are in the future now. You can correct things and make things better. For the price you're paying for all these vehicles and action figures, we, the people, expect it to be better. I am very happy and grateful that a toy company would reproduce these figures and vehicles for older adults. You know, hey, you know, let's just say this isn't for like kids nowadays, this generation, because they really don't know about this. They don't have the nostalgia for it. We adults do, who grew up with this. And like I said, I am very thankful that they did go out of the way and make it. But come on, guys, you should have just tested it out. You could have sent them out to some collectors and got some feedback from them, from the prototypes, and they would have told you what possibly could be a problem, and we could have corrected it. But now we got parts, we got action figures. Where's Mr. Sato? Let me see. Mr. Sato and his leg broken. So that's my rant. I don't like making negative videos, but had to do it on this because I am truly disappointed. If I want to get this all corrected, so I'm gonna ask to have a replacement of this action figure, and my guess is they're gonna say send everything back. Maybe just the mobile defense unit Rhino back because he came with that vehicle. So I'm gonna have to pay for the shipping and the tracking and maybe put insurance on it in case it gets lost in the mail because they may say, hey, we never received it. So I have to do all those things. I hope they are legitimate and they just say, hey, we acknowledge the problem and we're gonna mail you a figure at no cost to replace it so I don't have to return all this stuff. I would like to keep it, but I am contemplating on sending it all back. Just send the whole bundle back. This was the early bird special, whatever pre-order bundle. But now we'll just see how it goes. If I keep it or send it back, stay tuned and follow along on my channel, and you'll find out in the next couple weeks or months, or who knows when they get this all straightened out. So just putting it out there for all you collectors. I know you're probably excited you got this in the mail and you're ready, eager to open it. Some of you may keep it mint in package, and now you got something to think about. If you do open it up, say 5-10 years from now, you may have the Mr. Sato problem. That's what we're going to call this, the Mr. Sato problem of 2025. Thanks again. This was Cool Toys. Later.